Hello, everyone. What's going on? Christian Hernandez here with Sports Video Group. We're here yet another edition of our SVG Sports Tech on Demand, talking about all the news and notes from the spring season. I am very pleased to speak with Scott Davies. He is the CEO of Never.no. Scott, how you doing, sir? And how's 2021 going for you so far?
Yeah, better than 2020. So that's always a good start. And thanks for having me on. It's great to be here. So thank you. Yeah, an interesting 2020. So I think we've learned a lot, come over a lot of challenges, and geared up much better for this year. So it should be a good one.
Yes, a lot of lessons learned, but now those lessons can be used in 2021. That's the glory of life and how it goes. Scott, thanks for taking the time, sir. Very happy for you to join us on the program. So you are relatively new to our market. You joined SVG a couple of months ago, I believe. So if someone doesn't know who Never.no is and they're watching this, a quick overview of the company, what you guys are doing, and some of the solutions that you're helping out the sports industry.
Yeah, cool. So Never.no, we position ourselves as audience engagement specialists. So we work with broadcasters and content producers around the world to engage and work with audiences, typically through things like social media, getting socially generated content into a production workflow so that content can be delivered on air, whether that's into live graphics, whether it's in screens in the studio, presenters' iPads, and that can be for traditional linear, broadcast, even digital displays. So it's about talking to the audience, getting them to react, and getting that content in real time and into graphics. And of course, being socially driven, it doesn't just have to be the audience. It could be tracking things like sports bodies, federations, sports people. You know, there's a lot of content out there that production teams want to get into their show like that.
Right. Awesome. In terms of products, Scott, I know Beyond is one of those huge things that you guys are working on. That's up in the cloud. In terms of that, give a little bit a deeper dive into how that is used to help your customers, any recent products. And I know you guys work with a litany of clients like WWE over here in the States and BT Sport. Yeah. You can go into detail on who's some of those people that you're working with.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, an exciting year. At the core, our platform, as I say, it gathers content, it allows you to moderate it, manage it, create formats like polls, comments, videos, whatever, and then put it into the broadcast. Typically, we put that into traditional broadcast graphic systems, but we launched our own onboard graphic system the other year, so you can now have HTML graphics all in the cloud, which is being used by major broadcasters and digital broadcasters alike. We also launched the ability to connect with messaging platforms. So, you know, your WhatsApps, your Messenger, your Twitch, that kind of thing, which brings another layer of interaction with audiences and real-time content. And here's something that's going to be new for the end of the year. Well, we'll see how it goes. But this is the first time we've ever said it. So it's exclusive for SVG.
Appreciate that.
We are going to relaunch what is an award-winning platform with a completely new UI, a whole new user experience. So that's going to be pretty exciting because it's going to bring in all the things that we've learned over the last, couple of years, and even ourselves when we use the platform to know how to make it better for production teams and talent. It doesn't just have to be the producer choosing content and sending it to air. It could be the talent seeing it on an iPad and launching it and giving them some easy to use buttons. So, that's great stuff that's been launched. Right. People can use and great stuff to come.
Great.
And you mentioned about, customers using it, very much in sports. It's a hugely appreciated platform because, of course, everybody's talking about sports. I mean, you know what it's like. You're sitting in front of your TV and the sports are on and you're doing nothing but talking to the screen.
Right.
And that's what it's all about. It's about getting that content and making new content out of it and changing the way in which pundits, whether sports people, react to what's going on in real time. So you'll see people like SBS in Australia used it for the Tour de France mid-pandemic. You've got no people, out there watching the race. So It was very important to get people's reactions in the studio and allow them to do things like that. You mentioned BT Sport, big things like the Champions League, WWE, boxing. Again, how do you take that the content that you're producing to the next level? How do you get the audience to interact? Or indeed, how do you get real-time comments from other sports people watching, other pundits, or reactions, polls, things like that? And we've seen things where during the pandemic, brands are producing their own content that they've never done before. So Wimbledon had a coffee morning show during the whole tennis output, which enabled them to do completely new content because they were using real-time graphics, dynamic social content into their broadcast. And that's what we've seen with, Premier League football clubs, especially in the UK. Right. Fans aren't in the stadium. How do we interact with them? How do we keep them excited? Well, let's give them a show. Let's give them content, and let's enable them to make that content, which is pretty cool.
I think the idea is what you're getting at is the work that you guys are doing is create this communal feel, because you can't go to the pub, you can't go to the venue and experience the game together. So let's go to your platform in the digital side and kind of share your tidbits and your thoughts. Because you're right, we just met, Scott, but you know how I watch sports. I sit on the couch and just yell at the television, thinking that someone can hear me, even though they can't. So to that point, Scott, to that point, it was great during the pandemic because everyone was home and everyone was flocking to this platform. But now that we're finally getting out of the pandemic and people are going back to in-person events inside of the venue, where do you see the solution shifting and the company kind of finding its niche into this, going back to the traditional way of people being in a brick and mortar building?
It's interesting, and I'm glad you raised it, because we've always worked with the traditional broadcasters. It's there to be used as part of a show.
Right. What
happened during the pandemic and still at the moment is you've got all these people creating content, there are new shows, digital shows, and getting this new way of engaging with audiences. Now people are going back to the stadiums and, you've got, stadiums filling up. There's a realization that, hang on, this shouldn't stop.
Right.
You've only got a certain capacity that's going to go into a stadium, 50,000, 100,000, whatever it is. But your majority of your fans are still consuming this at home or on their digital devices. So now you've got a route for them to engage and see that they can influence the show in real time. And if you're clever, you can sponsor that and make it a added commercial value. Right. Then, it shouldn't stop. What people have learned during the pandemic is now what they should be doing as the norm. And hopefully we'll see that continue.
Right. The sports industry, there's a trend. Once you create something, it's never going back to how it was before you had it. Yeah. And you're right. If you find a way to monetize that content, it's just another revenue stream that'll just only be beneficial to the company and moving forward.
Absolutely. And why pull it away from the fans?
Exactly. If it's there, use it. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Scott, really great conversation. Really great time to talk to you and get to meet you. Thanks for taking the time. Really looking forward to Never.no's success in the future. But for now, stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy 2021 because it's going to be a hell of a lot better than 2020.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for your time. Thanks, Christian.